Hello and welcome. My name is Samantha and this is my channel, Her Pacific Northwest Washington Life. And today we are kicking off the week 23 reading vlog. So the reason we're in front of my shelves is because I promised at the end of last week I would show you the new shelves that I bought and just show how I guess I created more room on my bookshelves. So let me turn the camera around to show you that. So I've got these two shelves that are have 3 shelves each stacked up, and they fit almost perfectly in that little space there. There is a little bit of wiggle room in between, which is totally fine, but basically I moved all of the like short story collections and things, and then we've got Skylar's stuff towards the bottom there over. I moved up my little like mystery section here from the bottom and was able to expand the fantasy section a little bit so that I don't have as many books double stacked. And then the other big change is that I put all of my Plantagenet and Tudor series out so that I don't have these stacked behind the others anymore since I had an extra shelf. And just to fill in a little bit of space, I've got one potion there, and then I've got my empty Nargles bottle up there. So that's basically it. Now for reading. Today is the first day of June. I started working out for the first time in, don't even know how long it's been, but I did a little workout today and started listening to, as my buddy read, The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien, which is the 3rd book in the Lord of the Rings series, and is also obviously the last book in the Lord of the Read-Along that is happening. Return of the Kings, I think, is supposed to take June and July, for how Krista from Books and Jams and Sarah over at Sarah's Nightstand broke it out. But Rainey and I over at Rainy Day Reads have been doing about a week with our buddy reads, since these are both rereads for us. So I'm almost done with that, which is really exciting. We read the first 2 chapters today, and I'm not sure if Rainey's had a chance to read them yet. I think she's going to do a combo of reading and listening, whereas I'm solely listening to these. So we'll check in here in a little bit after I run some errands, but I'm really looking forward to having this last one under my belt and kind of seeing what happens next. I have a book that is right here. This is Skylar's book, and it's called Finding God in the Lord of the Rings. I'm not actually religious, but Skylar is. And I thought it would be really interesting because me not growing up religious and not having read the Bible, I feel like a lot of stories that have like symbolism and metaphors from the Bible in it just go way over my head. And I know J.R.R. Tolkien was a religious man. So I think having reread the trilogy again and then reading that will be just give like an all new experience to it that I'm really looking forward to kind of diving into, and hopefully those things that I missed out on the first read around, I'll have a new understanding for. Other than that, I need to pick another audiobook because I like an audiobook to listen to while I'm basically just putzing around the house and while I'm working, and since we've got a chapter cap per day on the audiobook I'm listening to now, I need another one for when I'm done with those chapters. So I'm not sure what that's going to be. I think I'm going to peruse my Audible first, since I am trying to get that TBR down. I might choose another Soraya M. Lane book that's kind of centered around one of the Great Wars, because I've got a fantasy going and I don't really want another fantasy audiobook just so they, like, I know the Lord of the Rings really well, but I don't want those storylines to like blend together or anything. And then other than that, I'm starting my Make Your Myth Taker readathon today as well, which is for the whole month. And I am going the path of the Faerie. So the first book I'm going to pick up is a book featuring fairies, or the Fae. And that is going to be Veins of Magic by Emma Hamm, which will be on my Kindle. So I'll be reading that tonight. I think that's it for this update now. I don't think I have any more to say. I did get a call this morning from my university that I am reapplying to, and I've got a call with a readmissions lady on Monday at 1. So before then, I have to fill out my FAFSA, which I need to do either today or tomorrow. And there's something else I need to fill out that they emailed over to me. So running errands today, getting things done. Not sure I'm going to be able to go through my craft drawer this week, but it'll definitely happen soon. So I'm going to get on with my day, and I'll check in when I have a new update. It has been a couple days since my last check-in, mostly because I haven't been doing a lot of anything. So I don't know. And I didn't have very many thoughts on the books I've been reading, to be honest. I am through that far in Return of the King. It's through book 6, chapter 1. And so I'm up to date and on track with my buddy read. I feel, and I don't know if this is because I just watched the movies recently, but I feel like I'm not very engaged in this story right now. It could also be because I don't really have like super mindless tasks right now at work. So I'm trying to fit in the reading, and it kind of feels like I'm rushing through it during downtimes. So I don't know. I'm just not, I guess, enjoying this reread as much as I have the others so far. I actually haven't even talked to Rainey since Monday, I don't think. I know she's taking a break from social media at the moment, but I know she's still like checking in on buddy reads and keeping up with those sorts of things, but she and I haven't chatted since Monday. So I'll need to see how her reread is going and if she's keeping up and things like that. Basically, we got through the big battle at Minas Tirith, and where we almost lost a couple key people. And now we're back following Sam and Frodo as they are in Mordor, and Sam has just rescued Frodo from the tower that he was locked up in. So lots of exciting things happen in this book. I'm just not connecting with it like I was hoping I would. So it's a bit of a bummer, but that's okay. We'll get through it regardless. I am also reading, oh, I never told you because I haven't picked up the camera since I picked my other audiobook, but I am reading The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. It's a book I've had on Audible for quite a while, and I also owned it as a physical book at one point, but I think for Christmas one year we actually gave it to Sky's grandma. And so I don't own the book anymore as a physical book. But it's going well. I don't really remember what I thought it was about or like why I decided to pick it up. But we basically follow this this girl. She's like a young adult in her early 20s, I want to say, and her grandmother who raised her has just passed away, and she's starting to find out and kind of piece together things about her grandma's past that nobody knew because her grandma was adopted. She was found at the docks from and they don't know like which boat she came off of, but it was a boat from London to Australia. And somewhere along the way, I think she got on the boat before her parents did. And so she ended up sailing, and they didn't. They followed like a couple weeks later. But there's some secrets, and things that were kept from Nell, the grandma, and obviously from her parents, because parents came looking for her, and the people who had brought her into their home decided not to come forward and say that they found the missing girl, which is kidnapping and scary. I mean, as much as they love this girl and raised her as their own, like, they still basically stole somebody else's child. So I don't remember her name. It's something with a C. I don't think it's Catherine, but the granddaughter is starting to learn a lot more about her grandma's past and things like that. So it's interesting. I haven't been listening to it a whole lot, but here and there, after I finish my sections of Return of the King, I've been getting to it. And then I've also been reading Veins of Magic by Emma Hamm, which is the book I'm reading on my Kindle right now. It's book 2 in the Otherworld series, and the first book, Heart of the Fae, follows a girl named Sorcerer who is a healer, and she was basically adopted as well by this man who owns a brothel. And so she's got a lot of sisters and stuff who work at the brothel, and Sorcia is basically the healer for them. So she helps them to not conceive children, and like fixes minor cuts and bruises and things that happen if customers get angry and other things like that. And she also helps the town out and other things. And there's this plague called the blood beetle plague that was ravishing the whole country. And it's really disgusting. These beetles came down from the sky or something in swarms and get under people's skin and start to eat away at their like tissue and things like that. So they slowly die, and there was no cure for this. So Sorcerer makes a deal with the fairies to get the cure, but she has to bring back this fairy named Aemon, who was cast out by his family. He was supposed to become the next High Fae King, but he is not perfect. I think a curse was put on him that whenever he gets like cut or anything like that, the cut doesn't bleed, but crystals form. So he is basically turning into a giant crystal. And so they didn't think he was like pure and good enough to be their king, so they cast him out. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And so he is the person that Sorcerer is supposed to bring back. There's a love story within it. There's also lots of different fae critters and things like that, like pixies and selkies. You've got elves and dwarves and gnomes and all sorts of things. So it's really fun. And then basically Veins of Magic just continues on from there. And I can't really talk much about it because it would spoil things. So I've got 3 books going right now. I will have Return of the King done by the end of Sunday. And probably Veins of Magic as well, if not sooner. And then I don't really know what I'm going to pick up next. I found out a couple days ago that G over at Book Roast is hosting another magical readathon at the end of June. I think it's the week of the 22nd through the 28th, I believe, are the days. It's the same week as the Camp Bookland readathon that's being hosted in the Creating & Co. book club on Facebook. But this week-long magical readathon is a Visit Hogsmeade one. So you can read a different prompt per shop. I'm going to have a TBR video of this up, but basically you start out with the Marauders map to get into Hogsmeade, and the one prompt you do have to read is for the Marauders map, which is to read a book with a map. And then you can basically, there's a little map that she drew. There's 9 shops that you can visit in Hogsmeade, and each one has a different prompt. So you don't have to go down a certain path or like read 1 before you can read 2 or anything like that. So I yesterday decided to put together a TBR for that. I'm not going to read all 10 books because I can't read 10 books in a week, but I'm gonna see what I can do. But I did pick a book for each prompt, so I'll share that in my TBR, which I think goes up next Thursday maybe. But that's basically it for right now. My dogs are gonna go crazy, even more crazy than they already were, because UPS is coming down the road. So to spare you from that, I'm gonna get going. You good yet? She's a dramatic one. So I just wanted to do a quick check-in before I head to bed. Well, I'm in bed. Before I turn out the lights for the night. I've been reading all 3 of my books today. I am in the middle of chapter 6 right now of The Return of the King. So I've got that little section in the middle is all I have left, because this half, or this section of the book, is all appendices and charts and things. I think there's family tree things and other such stuff. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So a good chunk of that book isn't part of the actual story. I don't think I've ever read any of those appendices though, so it might be fun to read through at some point, but I don't think it's going to be at this point. So things are going really well. I actually read almost through chapter 6. Through chapter 6 would be tomorrow's section, so I've almost read all of today's section and tomorrow's. I did that just because we've got the kiddo this weekend, so I know that my listening time is not going to be as much as it would normally be. So right now we're just kind of doing the goodbyes and making the way back to the Shire, which is always so sad. I hate to see the companions all split up and go their merry ways, but they have to now that they've defeated Sauron and have gotten rid of the ring. So I just love this story so much, and even though I wasn't like connecting with it so much at the beginning, it's still like my enjoyment of this story is just so high. So really have loved my reread of this, especially doing it with Rainey and being able to chat. We still haven't chatted a lot about this book, but I think that's okay. We'll probably do a big catch-up at the end. I also read another chapter in Veins of Magic on my Kindle. I'm 52, I think, percent of the way through now, so we're making progress. I was gonna plan to have that done today, but I've been crashing kind of early, and only reading like a chapter in bed at night, which is usually around like 30 minutes for a chapter. So I'd like to make more progress on that. I'm hoping to have it done by Sunday, but we will see with that. And The Forgotten Garden is going well as well. We're following kind of a lot of points of views. The story is not chronological, so we'll have a chapter that'll be in the present following, I think her name's Cassandra, following Cassandra, who has just lost her grandmother Nell, and her grandmother Nell has a history that is quite muddled and confusing because she was found on the docks in Australia from a boat coming from London, and she was essentially adopted by this man who worked at the docks. And so we go back to times where Nell has found out she was adopted and where she's trying to figure out her past and where her like biological family is. We're also jumping back to this lady called the authoress who, when Nell boarded the boat, she was hiding and she was told to hide and not tell anyone her name by the authoress. So there's something, obviously Nell and the authoress are connected in some way. I just don't know what way yet, whether it's good or bad. But like the chapter I'm in the middle of right now is about the authoress and her twin brother and them growing up during hard times. Their father was some sort of mariner, and there was like a boating accident or something, and he was lost at sea. And then their mom passed away from tuberculosis, so they're having to survive and just kind of scrape together what they can in order to make a good life for themselves. So it'll be interesting to see how all of those different storylines weave together and get us to the present day. So really looking forward to that. Yeah, I think that's it for tonight. I'm gonna go to sleep now. Sorry for the shadow, but this is romaine, and we've got a whole bunch of it popping up along the back row there. And then in this row, these little guys right here, those are green onions. So we've got quite a few of those popping up as well. And then in the front row, there's nothing growing yet, but this is gonna be peppers. And then in this garden, we've got cucumbers popping up, and along this row here, these little green bits are carrots. So those are starting to come up as well. Now the last section here, these are peas. We've got 2 rows of them. And then we did a row for beans back there, but I don't think anything's popping up yet. But the peas are coming up pretty nicely.
And then, what color eye should you have? Blue? Now we gotta make it big.
Wait, but his eyes are behind the sunglasses.
You can have eyes inside the sunglasses.
Oh, okay.
With people in them.
Yeah.
So he has to have big eyes. Like that one right there. And then his face is green, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like Gamora. That's her name, right?
Yes, that is the name.
I think you don't. Dad, I think you know what I'm drawing, right? You know what?
Nose?
A mustache.
That's the cassette tape symbol.
Hey, I tried.
That's the button you push to switch to play the cassette tape.
Is it a mustache?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then his.
Wait, is that a nose?
Yeah, this is his nose now.
Mustaches go above your nose.
Who cares? Wait, do they?
No.
I'm just picturing a guy because I met a guy a couple years ago and he has a mustache like this.
It's hard to believe it because your dad can't grow a mustache, huh?
Yeah. And plus, you have a hair under your thingamajig. Yeah, we're just gonna call it your thingamajig. Okay?
What about it?
Okay, I'm out. I'm sorry. I'm done. Okay, now we have to make this like. Oh, we forgot one thing.
What? He needs a whole bunch of teeth.
Boom, there's a smile.
There you go.
That looks good.
Yeah.
And then we need red and white.
Does he get ears?
We'll do that later.
Okay.
And then red and...
We have one chin.
So small boxes, basically. Am I doing good?
Yeah. You should draw a line all the way through the middle and then draw your lines down instead of making your squares.
Not good?
Yeah.
Just make lines?
Yeah. Way faster.
But we still have to draw his mouth red, right?
Like his lips? Yeah. Unless you want him to have green lips.
Okay. That's good. And lips, you're turning red. Honestly, let's just call him a grilled chicken.
He's a grilled chicken? Okay.
That's his name. That's good.
Yeah.
Really good. I'm really good at this. I don't know how, but I'm good at this. I'm usually bad at drawing.
I don't believe it.
So, boom. Now we're drawing his face, Dad.
Ooh, we're coloring them all in?
Yeah.
Alright, you're going to need like 6 sticks of that green.
Here, you want to get the 6 sticks?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Okay.
I am going to close out this vlog here, just trying to get it edited and uploaded really quickly. We had quite a busy weekend playing outside with chalk and doing things in the garden. We pulled some weeds and stuff, and today was mostly a board game day. We played Sequence and Rumicube, and my brother came over to visit for a little bit, and we also played Mario Party with him, which was really fun. And then just spent some time together going over Skylar's route. He is leaving tomorrow morning to go on a road trip for about a week and a half, just under 2 weeks. He's gonna go see his parents in LA before they get on the road for Florida and make a little bit of a loop. So really excited for him to go on that trip, but I'll be the one staying home, which is very weird because usually he's the one who stays home with the dogs while I'm on work trips and things. But yeah, I did a little bit more reading of Veins of Magic. I think I'm 62% of the way through, so I should have that done probably by tomorrow night, which will be good. I can move on to my next book for the Make Your Myth Taker Readathon. And I still have the appendix section for the Fellowship of the Return of the King to read, which I believe is part of my audiobook. So that's about 2.5 hours that I'll just get done here and there throughout the week. And then I've got probably like, I don't know how many hours, probably 15 hours, maybe not that much, of the Forgotten Garden left to read. So finished one book and I've got 2 more carrying over for next week, which is fine. But I definitely enjoyed my reading this week, and I hope you did as well. I would love to know if you've read any of these books, as always, and what your thoughts are on them. So if you feel so inclined, please do let me know down in the comments below, and I will chat with you there until my next video. Bye!